welcome to the Parenting Versus Podcast.
Le podcast.
Santa Fe edition.
Margarita edition.
La Cumbre IPA edition.
St. Francis statue / fountain in front of my face edition.
All right.
I like it a lot, actually. It's a great statue.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk location?
Sure. So we are in a restaurant, a pretty long-standing staple
En un restaurante.
of the city of Santa Fe, Tiny's. This is a restaurant that's been around for a while. Lindsay read the history that was on the menu, but I know about Tiny's, and I never knew what it was. I just knew it existed. I grew up here in Santa Fe. I knew that my grandpa went there.
Here?
I think I just assumed it was a bar, and I didn't really know what alcohol was or why grown-ups drank it. Now I know. But
you're doing that right now.
Yeah, I'm drinking an alcoholic beverage as we speak.
There's more sirens. There was, when we were driving into Santa Fe today, it was kind of ominous and weird. There was giant thunderheads all around us. The sky was dark. It was like ready to dump rain on us. And for whatever reason, it bypassed Santa Fe completely. And so we got to watch this giant thunderstorm like move around the city, but not actually dump anything on us. It was beautiful, but crazy. And then when we drove in here, there were a bunch of police officers and sirens and like SWAT team cars going by.
Just sort of unsettling. Like the weather kind of
weird.
put us in that mood already.
Yeah.
The wind was nuts. It was like I was telling my dad a little bit earlier in the conversation, just kind of estimating the wind. I think it was probably around 40 to 50 miles per hour. Because like as I'm driving down the road, we were going as fast as the debris that was going down the road too.
Yeah.
So that kind of gave me an idea. Like, oh, we're probably going 45 because I'm going 45, and the debris is also going 45. So. Yeah.
It was crazy. So there was like an active shooter situation up by Canyon Road, and we've been making sure we're not around that area, but it was weird. There was a lot of police officers, a lot of police cars going by really quickly. Yeah. Big trucks full of SWAT team guys, and they say the guy's in custody, so that's good. It was just kind of strange. It was a weird start to this little staycation. Yeah.
Santa Fe is kind of like our go-to. And we haven't come here in a long time. I think we've just sort of been, I don't know what we've been doing, but we've been not really going out as much. And also, we've been in the middle of a global pandemic for 3 months too. So there's that. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah.
We're still trying to be safe, and I always say that on our podcast, but like, wear your masks. We've been wearing our masks.
I'm going to be a jerk. I'm just going to do it right now.
Okay, be a jerk. Hot take.
Hot take for me.
Hot take by Lindsay.
All right, let's drop this. If you're from Texas or Arizona, your numbers are really high right now. And that is due to people not being cautious and not wearing masks and going out to beaches and bars and not social distancing. Good for you. If that's what you're into and that's what you want in your life, great. But the thing is, don't come to New Mexico. Like, don't come here. We don't want you here. We don't want your coronavirus here. Go home. I am so tired of seeing cars with Texas plates. I'm like, you guys need to stay in Texas for a while. Okay? Like,
just because of the numbers.
Don't bring it here. We've done a really good job of keeping it legit and safe. Please don't ruin that for us.
I've sort of tossed around this idea because Texans are starting to discover, or maybe they have for a while, but they've discovered that New Mexico has a lot of greatness to offer, especially in our mountains, our ski resorts.
Well, that's exactly why they come for the mountains.
Yeah, like our cities, like Santa Fe and Ruidoso, and Sipapu and Red River, Angel Fire, Taos.
Basically, they come because we're way better than they are. I'm just going to say that right now. Sure. Texas, we're better than you. Fight me.
They will fight you in their big old hats.
Good luck.
But anyways, I'm like, okay, well, they're bringing all their partners out here.
And they're howdying everybody.
Yeah. And
it's ridiculous.
And their diesel trucks and the black smoke and their Trump. But anyway, let's take a pause real quick.
Okay.
we're back.
We are back. Yeah, we took a little break last night. Had our dinner. It was delicious at Tiny's.
Long break.
A long break. Yeah,
It's morning.
Yeah, we came up to Santa Fe for the night to just sort of reset from some things. And I don't know if you want to talk about that at all, but
Yeah, we
I
can.
feel like it's sort of important.
I wanted to paint the picture of where we are, though.
Okay, go ahead and do that first.
Because we were at Tiny's. We painted a really good picture of that.
Which was, yeah.
And it was good food. Had a beer.
And a margarita.
We were the only people in the restaurant. I don't know if we mentioned that or not. But
It was social distance fabulous, which was great. There's a lot of Texans, like we had mentioned before, here right now in Santa Fe. I think they're, I hope that they're being careful. I really do. But in the plaza and the kind of like touristy downtown Santa Fe area, there's lots of tourists. So we kind of ventured to Tiny's, which is more of a local spot, and did that. And there was like nobody. So it was kind of nice to just have that peacefulness and that peace of mind. Like, okay, cool. Like, we're not breathing in Texas Corona.
Right.
Man, I have some beef with Texas.
I guess so. Yeah, you had a hot take last night.
It's like deeply embedded in my soul. I'm like, look, Texas, get your shit together, go home.
Yeah. So, yeah, we took a break, ate our dinner, and now we're here.
Yeah, we had some coffee this morning, really good coffee at Java Joe's here in Santa Fe.
Yeah, there's a Java Joe's in Albuquerque that's good too.
Yeah, but they're both
might be one of my favorite spots is Java Joe's in
local.
Yeah. Java Joe's in Albuquerque is awesome. I love that place.
That's like the OG independent coffee shop. Like, before the boom, like that's where you went if you didn't want to go to Starbucks. And
it's where you go if you want a really good breakfast burrito too.
Oh yeah.
So
good stuff.
Yeah, we're at a park that I used to play at as a kid. Actually, right behind us is, I think it's called the Salvador Perez Park.
Perez?
And then there's a Salvador...
Not Perez.
Perez.
Thank you.
Perez.
You're a Dominguez.
Perez.
You should know this. You should know better.
Yeah, I guess so.
Santa Fe.
Yeah, the Salvador Perez.
Perez?
Pool. There's a pool that we would go to all the time. It's an indoor pool. And then there's a train here that's been there since I was a kid, like an old steam train on some tracks.
I mean, I do wish that we could like climb it, but it's fenced off.
Yeah. So, yep. And it used to not be fenced off.
Oh.
When I was a kid, there was no fence around it.
In the 80s, they didn't care about liability.
No, they gave two shits. No.
They're like, did you get your tetanus shot? Good.
No, as kids, we would climb up on the train and look into the, I don't know, is it called a cockpit?
I don't know.
A helm?
I don't know. That's a ship. A cockpit's a plane. A helm is a ship.
Yeah.
What is a train?
I have no idea. The steam room? And
maybe, yeah.
The
room?
Boiler room?
Possibly.
Who knows?
I'm not a train expert.
I'm not a train driver.
Although I should be, because our 5-year-old is obsessed with trains. So.
Yeah. Either way, yeah, this park I played at a lot as a child. Swim in that pool a lot. Would call 1-800-COLLECT when I would call my mom to come pick us up, and I would when they asked for the name, I would say, "We're ready."
Oh my God. That's so ghetto.
Yeah.
I love it. You're like, we're not going to pay that money.
No.
We're ready.
Sometimes my mom would give me a quarter to like actually call, but most of the time we would consolidate our quarters and buy a snack.
Smart. I like where your head's at.
And
this isn't phone money, this is snack money.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, this is a park that we played at a lot. It's a nice park. It's a nice day.
Well, when we were first married, we used to come here when we lived in Santa Fe and play tennis together.
Yeah.
We're not like yuppies. We were just poor and had nothing to do.
Yeah, I remember our tennis rackets were like from the 70s. Or
yeah,
really
we
old.
got them at like a thrift store. We're like, hell, let's take up tennis.
Yeah.
So we did.
And I hated tennis probably because our tennis rackets sucked. But
they were heavy. The ones from the 70s are really heavy. That was before they started making them like a little bit lighter.
Yeah, they're like solid mahogany.
With solid mahogany tennis racket.
Or rosewood. I don't know what they are. But anyways, yeah, we're here. Just kind of hanging out. Feeling just weird feelings, I guess. I don't know.
We felt breakfast defeated earlier. We tried to go to like 2 different places, and one of them was cash only. The other one was only takeout. So like we were like, ugh. So finally we just ended up getting a burrito at the burrito spot, which wasn't a bad choice. It was
Yeah.
just like more fast foody than we kind of wanted, but you know, privilege. So
Yeah. And maybe I got started on a sort of grumpy foot too because, well, I booked a hotel through, what was it, like Priceline?
yeah,
And usually I'll try to do like those deals where they like knock a percentage off or whatever.
yeah,
Um,
like the day of.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you get like last minute deals. I try to do like hotels tonight. Like I'm a deal seeker. And when I feel like my deal is not as good of a deal, like I want to feel like my deal is a good deal. And I didn't really feel that way.
Quite the economist you are.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I didn't feel like the deal was that banging, you know what I mean? And
What? That banging. All right.
it wasn't a banging deal. You never
Okay.
heard that?
I mean, I have. I've never expected it to come out of your mouth. But
Okay,
like, all
whatever.
right.
A lot you don't know about
I
me.
think you just grew some more gray hairs because you said that.
Probably. I was stressed out about my deal. So I try not to let those things bother me. And I guess when you don't have coffee and you don't have a breakfast burrito in your stomach, like
The world goes to shit pretty quickly.
the small things sort of just start bugging you.
Well, so it's funny because it was the Hilton Santa Fe, and I loved that place, except for the pool was closed. They're like, you can go out there and like look at it, but you can't go in it. And we were
Yeah.
like, well, why the hell would we want to go sit and look at it?
Maybe that's all just karma for us talking shit about Texans
Yeah,
and
maybe.
then doing exactly what they're doing.
I don't
You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Like being irresponsible.
I mean, I don't know that we're being irresponsible. Like, we got a hotel room in a hotel, the two of us, like, secluded. But anyway, beside the point, we couldn't really use any of the amenities, so it was kind of like, okay. And then I really like the bed in there. They're super soft, but I guess you didn't sleep very well. So
I tossed and turned. I don't know why.
I slept so great.
Yeah.
Like, I feel super rested. I haven't felt this rested in, like, a month because our kids destroy that for me every night.
Yeah.
I mean, I love them, but they, like, literally destroy any, like, ounce of sleep that you get. Because
Right.
they're always, like, crawling in bed with you, or they're waking up in the middle of the night, or they're like, Mom, I'm scared. And you're just like, oh, my God, go to sleep. So it was nice to just, like, sleep through a whole night without having to be woken up, like, multiple times.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the luxury. Maybe it had nothing to do with the bed. Maybe it was just that I got to sleep without being interrupted for
Yeah.
once.
No, yeah, that was nice. Yeah, I woke up a few times, like 2 a.m., 3 a.m.
Jeez. I didn't
But-
realize that. I must have been out.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe it was my dreams or something waking me up.
Or something.
So, I'm not sure.
Yeah. I slept well. It was like the feather down pillows and the feather down blanket, and that's not something that we have at home. So
You don't enjoy those luxuries at home?
no, I mean I
You have a-
yesterday I looked at the tag on the pillow and I was like, I gotta find out how much these pillows cost.
Yeah,
So I Googled the tag on the pillow. Those pillows were $70 each, and I was like, what in the hell? Who has that kind of money? Like, who spends $70 on a pillow? Not just one, but like 4 of them.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I was like, well, I'm gonna enjoy this moment, but I am sure as shit not buying those pillows.
Yeah, it's an upgrade from our flat ass pillows at home,
Our pillows that are probably like 8 years old and like
full of like
disgusting. Ugh.
who knows what.
I don't even want to think about that right now. That's
Yeah.
gross. That's gross.
So,
Now I'm thinking about like sweat and like dust mites. Oh god.
yeah.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
So I had, oops, let me see here. I had a few topics.
Okay. You made a list.
Yeah.
You're the list maker. I'm like in my head. I just talk about whatever I think about.
We don't have to talk about
and
these,
then you
but
have like a
I
have a list.
Usually I come up with these ideas when I'm either running or in the shower or walking or just when my mind is wandering.
When it's not interrupted by
Yeah, which doesn't
child
happen,
banter.
which doesn't happen very often, but
Yeah.
let's see.
Hang on. Can you pause for a sec?
Sure.
Okay, we're gonna take a little break.
Okay, we're back. We just had to pause for a second. There was a lot of racket. But, yeah, so I will think of these ideas or these topics as I'm like as I'm like running or walking around or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
So here's a few. I said Facebook posts. I don't know why I said that.
Probably because divisive and shitty.
Yeah, I think Facebook posts are
I'm gonna veto that only because I don't want to think about Facebook. It's just
That's
gonna
fine.
make me mad.
What captured your fascination as a kid? Like what gave you wonder?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Coffee snobbery. I don't know why I put that there.
Because we're coffee snobs.
Zoom happy hours. Like, how do you feel about Zoom happy hours?
Okay, I have a comment on that.
Well,
or are we just...
We have to go full blown so I can cross it out.
Oh my God.
So we can kind of decide.
Okay.
What will the world look like after COVID? Would you rather use the game cards? I don't know.
Oh yeah, we don't have that with us right now, but that's fine.
Why aren't people wearing masks? I think maybe we might have already talked about that.
I think we did. It's more of a political statement at this point, which is stupid.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, I think it was like a movie theater that said they weren't going to require their patrons to wear masks because they didn't want to get involved in the political...
That's fucking filthy.
Yeah,
by the way,
but
it's already dirty in there.
Just by doing that, they got involved in the political conversation.
Yeah. Like, so you drew a line, guys. Like
you took a stand.
You drew a line, and then you said, "Fuck it, we don't care."
Yeah. What's New Mexico like? Like, what is Mexico really like? Because as a New Mexican, I wrote this down because there's a lot of people. I think New Mexico is the most misunderstood state in the entire. I mean, maybe behind like North Dakota and South Dakota, because I don't know shit about that place. Those places.
There's a lot of land up there, and not a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's really all I know.
Yeah.
I guess you could ask John Pierre, our friend John, about the Dakotas. He grew up there.
Yeah.
Like, do you chop a lot of wood up there, or like, what do you do?
Should we edit names out? I don't even know.
Nah.
They're gonna like.
John Pierre, you're on this one. Suck it.
And she said it again. There you go. Let's find his address and his phone number and just like.
Let's just give it out.
I don't know. I feel weird about saying people's names on the podcast, but
it's fine.
It's okay. Mount Rushmore is in one of those states.
In one of them.
I don't know. So.
It's so funny though, because you're right. Like, there's not a whole lot that I know about either of those places either. There's like oil, an oil boom happening, right?
Yeah.
I know they're in a housing crisis because of all the oil stuff happening. Rent is really high there. Because people go and they're doing like the oil boom stuff. They're working for the oil fields, and like it's like these small towns and their capacity is like not as big as like the people coming in.
Right.
So I do know that.
Yeah.
Rapid expansion.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know much about New Mexico, and I thought about maybe we could talk on that. Therapy is a good thing. What have we learned about ourselves in therapy? You know,
I don't know that I want to talk about that on the podcast.
You don't.
It's not private for me.
Sure, that's fine. I thought that was a good topic because I
like how we're making a podcast about making podcast topics. Like, I would rather just talk about one, you know?
Okay.
Like,
so,
because I feel like we're just going down a list, like...
All right, how about just the shit summer?
The shit summer. Now, that's something summer. I can show up for.
The 2020 shit summer of
shitstorm
just completely being...
Bent over backwards by life?
Living in uncertainty and, like, trying to figure things out with your life, and already being in a state where you're kind of like teetering on this uncertainty and like wondering what's next and trying to better your situation and better your life, and this shit gets thrown at you all the time.
Okay. I want to preface this though. Can I?
Sure.
I want to say to whoever's listening, and then maybe to you also, like, we're going to explain what happened, but also it is hard for me to talk about this because it's embarrassing, but I think the reason that we should talk about it is because it happens more than people think it does.
Okay.
And I think that there's a need for awareness, and I think it's important to talk about things that are uncomfortable because you're not the only one. And if you talk about it, despite your embarrassment, maybe it'll encourage somebody else to act and talk about it. So,
and that's kind of my angle on the therapy thing.
Okay, well, that's a different
maybe
topic.
Another time. Yeah.
But so, do you want to start this, or do you want me to explain this?
So, living in Albuquerque is fine. Like, we enjoy our friends. What?
Water. Can I have the water?
Sure.
Sorry, I'm just really thirsty. My allergies are.
We enjoy
How
our
are you?
friends. We enjoy having our family here, supporting us and supporting having our kids.
Taken care of if we want to go to Santa Fe for the night.
Yeah, like today.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. There's a lot of natural beauty in New Mexico. There's a lot of...
Cost of living is low.
Cost of living is low. There's a lot of great breweries and coffee shops and restaurants and art. And, like, New Mexico has a lot going for it.
Yeah.
But for a long time... for a long time, we have both kind of had this idea of you returning to Portland and me kind of just moving there because,
Well, no, I think anybody who's listened to this podcast long enough knows that.
I think every summer we've kind of gone through a little crisis.
Right. Well, yeah, and that has always been kind of our goal. Is like at some point we would like to get up to Portland and establish our life up there when we're ready and when there's a time for a change, like when there's a transition in our life that makes sense. So I think that's what it is. You know?
Yeah. And again, like it's not because we hate New Mexico, because New Mexico is a great place. There are some things that I wish were different, and I think that there are some things that could keep me here, like mentally more.
Right.
And that was if there was more like job availability, if there was like
Well, and that's the thing. I think people, and I hope it changes. I think it is changing, but I think it's going to take a while. New Mexico is always slow to the punch. Like if Denver did something 5 years ago, New Mexico's catching up now.
Right.
It's partially just the environment, but it's also the attitude, I think, of New Mexicans. Everything is like, nah, we'll get to it like when we get to it. Like we're not in a hurry for progress. Like we're sort of just like relaxed about things. And so a lot of times things that are happening in bigger, faster paced cities, they don't hit here until later because people don't get around to them until later. And that's okay. It can be, it's called like the land of mañana. Like the attitude is like, nah, mañana. Like we'll get to it tomorrow or we'll get to it later whenever we feel like it. And that can be good in some senses. But also like with jobs, New Mexico is a growing city and it is starting to pick up. Yeah, that's what I meant. Thank you. Albuquerque is a growing city. We have the movie industry here. We have Amazon here. They're building things. We have Facebook.
It's like a distribution center.
Data center. Like we have a bunch of things happening right now. Okay. But for the longest time, there's only been entry-level careers and like upper management. There's not a lot of middle or mid-level career opportunities. So somebody who gets a degree, like they're either left with the option of like starting at entry level and trying and hoping they can work their way up or leaving.
Maybe. I mean, we're not the experts on exactly what's going on in the job market.
No, I'm saying that because I did an interview with a lady from the Chamber of Economic Development, and that's exactly what we were talking about. And she was like, yeah, no, that's why everybody leaves. Yeah. So I know that for a fact.
There's a lot of... So unemployment is something that's been talked about in news, and people are losing their jobs and they don't have a job. But there's something called underemployment, like where you're underemployed, where you're not employed at the level that you are educated and experienced and everything else like that. And that's been the story of my life, I feel like. And it's kind of set my attitude as like maybe I am like not good enough for like these other jobs. Like for example, like I graduated from college and I graduated in the Great Recession in 2008 or 2009. And the best job I could find was Starbucks. And it's not like I didn't try it. Like I tried really hard. I put applications everywhere. I worked on my resume. I worked on cover letters, and I was trying really hard just to find a job, and I couldn't. And then finally I was able to get my foot in the door in a call center, which was fine. Like it made money. It paid the bills. I hated that job though. Like the hours sucked. I missed Luke's, birthdays, and I missed Christmases and like Halloween and like different, weekends, of course. Like I had to work weekends, which sucked.
There was a time
I hated it so bad.
Lorenzo and I were both working, and we were just like passing the baby off as like in passing, like here's our kid, bye. Like,
and I tried really hard to like move up in that company, and I thought like, man, I'm qualified. I think like I worked really hard to earn my bachelor's degree, and like I thought like maybe I can get some job like moving up within the company, and it never worked out.
But do you remember even like when they were like, well, if you want to move up, you might have to transfer to Dallas? Or like,
yeah, no, that would have been the case. And I even applied for some of those jobs and I didn't fucking get them, like, which was frustrating.
Whatever.
Like, I'm like, hell yeah, I will move to Dallas. I will move to Alaska. I will move anywhere as long as you give me
Anchorage was the other one.
give me a fucking job.
Dallas or Anchorage. Okay.
Because I'm so sick and tired of like missing my weekends with my son. I'm sick and tired of missing like trick-or-treating. And I'm sick and tired of just like being on the phone every single day
until like 1 a.m. and like coming home at like 3 a.m.
No, and my schedule would change every 6 months. Sometimes I would have to be either at work at 5 a.m. or I'd have to do some weird off, some stupid shift, and who knows.
That was so hard on us as like new parents.
Anyways, like, yeah, like it
family.
sucked, and I couldn't find a job, and it was frustrating. And finally, like, I heard about like, oh yeah, and I'm looking everywhere. As I'm working at Verizon, I'm trying to move up in the company there. I'm trying to move up. I'm trying to find jobs like somewhere else in New Mexico, and I couldn't find a job. I just couldn't. And then finally, like a couple of my friends, I had like 2 or 3, maybe 4 friends who like were getting into teaching, and they're like, yeah, you just need a degree, and you need to take classes at a community college, and they'll license you to be a teacher. And I'm like, okay, fine.
Stable hours. Good.
I will do that. Like, I have summers off. I have breaks. I have time with my kids. It was a pay cut from Verizon, but I just didn't. I was so tired of just like.
Well, do you remember that conversation that we had? Was like the benefit of teaching at the time was like you get to be home for dinner.
Yeah.
Like you get to be home every night. You get to like have a normal schedule. You get summers off. Like you're taking that pay cut, but you're comping it with the time you're getting, which is nice. But again, the money is not great.
I appreciated it, and I still appreciate that time that I have with my family. But once I got that first check from teaching, I was in utter shock.
Yeah.
Because
it was a blow for sure.
At the time, teachers started at I think between $30,000 and $33,000 a year.
Yeah.
And then teachers, what I didn't realize, and I was used to this at Verizon for them taking money out for like my health insurance and and that was it. Health insurance and then like 401k.
Right.
And then teaching, I expected it to be about the same. But then I got my paycheck, and like, yeah, they take your pension, they take health insurance, which was worse than Verizon, and then they take union dues.
I think at the end it was like we were left with like $400 or something. It was crazy.
No.
Or not. Okay, I'm just gonna.
No, like when I looked at my paycheck, it was like $700.
Yeah. Okay.
And $700 every 2 weeks, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to get?
And
through
our
this?
mortgage wasn't even that high at the time.
No.
It was like $1,200 a month.
$1,000.
For a house.
$1,000.
Okay, you're making me feel like a fucking idiot right now.
I'm sorry, it was $1,000.
No, it doesn't matter. Like the point is.
Yeah, it was less than we're paying now. But anyways, like I'm trying, and and New Mexico is just not letting me like advance, and I'm really putting effort,
I think it's easier for people coming with mid to higher level like careers coming into New Mexico and finding jobs than it is to be here and try to work up into those jobs.
Yeah.
Because the steps involved in getting to that point just aren't here.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but anyway.
Yeah.
This summer.
So this summer.
We went on a tangent about teaching.
Right. Well, it's leading up to what I'm saying. So this summer, we find ourselves yet in the same position we've been in for the past like 5 years, and I'm like, something has to change, something has to give, and I'm getting my second degree, my MBA, which seems like it's my luck. It's like in the middle of a worldwide global pandemic. I'm like, great. Bachelor's degree in the Great Recession, master's degree in the pandemic.
I feel like that should make you more qualified than a lot of people.
Like, are you fucking kidding me? Can't I just graduate at the peak of like economic prosperity? Like, what the hell?
Thanks, Trump.
So
sorry.
Yeah,
I'm not sorry.
Don't be sorry.
I'm not.
No, like, so I'm like, something has to change. I have to do something different, and like, I want to make this. I don't know if it's continuing to search for jobs here in Albuquerque, or if it's trying to figure out if there's a job market better in a coastal city like Portland.
Well, I think the point is that we're in a transition period yet again, and I mean, life is made up of transition periods, but career-wise, we are at a spot where you have the opportunity to move up or move in a different direction because of your education.
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, well, our thought process is like, we're renting right now. We have tried, like, again, this year, we have tried it feels like, I'm going to be honest. It feels like the world is completely working against us.
Yeah.
Very hard. We have tried to buy a house like every which way this year. Hasn't happened. We've been renting for 2 years, we have a great house, but it's not ours. They had offered to maybe sell it to us. That didn't work out.
Yeah.
The government says now that your debt to income is too high to buy a house because they count student loans against you, which is, I think, wrong for so many reasons. Like, how is anybody supposed to buy a house with a shit ton of student loans? Like, but we don't make enough to efficiently, like, try to pay off those student loans. So we're kind of in this, like, pickle. And we're like, well, we can go rent somewhere else in a city that is bigger, that has more opportunity.
Yeah.
So maybe we should try that. Because this rental thing was supposed to be like a stopover.
Right.
I don't know if anybody has listened to this podcast, but 2 years ago, when we first moved into the house we're in now, it was because we had put an offer on a house, and the offer, like the inspection came back, and the house was like, it had a lot of damage in the roof, and it was like a week before school was supposed to start for our kids, and we just literally had to buckle down and find somewhere because we were living with my parents.
And then, like, even rewind from our house search.
Yeah.
A month before that, our plan fell through from moving to Portland, like the other time.
Right.
Like, we were going to move to Portland. That's why we sold our house in the first place, so we could move to Portland. And then that fell through. So, like, well, good thing is, like, housing is cheap in Albuquerque. We'll just buy a house in Albuquerque.
Like, the thing is, we've tried to be so agreeable with the situations that have come our way, and it feels like nothing ever pans out, and it's really frustrating.
It's like the universe is just giving us a middle finger at every turn that we make.
So anyway.
So, brings us to this summer.
Right.
We're fully motivated to, like, find a house. Like, it was like a roller coaster of emotion and motivation.
The momentum was there.
But we would be on and off about it too. But like we finally were like, we're not giving up. We give up all the time. Let's just go through it.
Yeah.
So you were doing amazing at the house search. You were finding places. You were, finding.
I mean, I paid the fee on HotPads so that I could submit my application to, like, whatever house came up.
First 30 days or something.
Yeah. So the housing thing in Portland is a little weird. You have to view the house first, then you get invited to apply if you're first on the list.
Mm-hmm.
But because there's so many people applying, they have to basically, like, timestamp your application.
Right.
So if you're first, you get to apply first, and if your application doesn't go through, then they go to the next person. So it's like first come, first serve. They're trying to be as fair as possible, but you really have to jump on it. And so it's like working backwards, trying to view houses on Zoom so I can say I viewed them, so then I can apply.
Zillow.
Whatever.
Yeah.
My head is shot.
No, I got you.
But so I'm, like, hustling, trying to figure this process out from New Mexico, and everyone's calling me like, hey, can you come view the property on Saturday? I'm like, well, I'm not in that state right now. Like, can we Zoom? Can you walk me through it?
And a couple of them did, I think.
Some of them did. Some of them were like, yeah, I could do that. But some of them, and then one of them was willing to rent to us. We did the application and everything.
Was it Craigslist?
No.
A different one?
The greenhouse.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, okay, cool, but if you get approved, you have to move in within 2 weeks. And we were like, what in the hell? Like, we have to give a month's notice to our landlord. We can't move in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, that's not nice or responsible for, like, our landlord.
And also, like, the overlap of trying to pay for 2 rents is...
No. And a deposit.
Is hard,
Like, we're like, okay, how is this going to work? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go on Craigslist. I'm going to look for private renters because you can find them from time to time. And so I did. And I found a house. It was in a decent area. The schools were all right. The house would work. The price was, like, a little bit higher than we would have liked, but doable. So I sent an email, and I started communicating with this person who was renting this house. And they sent us the application, and it looked legit. It honestly looked like normal, like every other rental application I filled out.
Right.
Nothing was amiss. It seemed fine. I did my research. I looked at the house. It was for rent. I looked up, like, the neighborhood. I looked up everything else, and I'm like, okay, this is the process that we're engaging in is normal. It's standard, right?
Yeah.
So, excuse me.
We're on our way out to go camping, and
they were like, we just have to run your background, and we'll let you know in a few days.
Application
I'm like, okay,
fee.
that sounds normal.
Where they say $50 a person. We're like, okay, that sounds like...
No, it was pretty standard for everything else I was looking at.
Like,
it was like 25 to 50.
They're wire us some money through Zelle, and I'm like, okay. We have Zelle. So I wired the money, $100.
Yeah.
And then they had sent us the an application. We had to fill it out and then scan it and then like email it back to them, right?
Right.
So we did all of that. And then they didn't tell us that they like left us an email like the next day, right?
It was like 2 days. Yeah, it was
or
a
2
couple
days later.
They were like, we did the background. Everything looks good. We ran this and this. Everything looks good. We'd like to go ahead and offer you the opportunity to lease the house if you'd like to. And I'm like, oh my God, like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we drove.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
We were camping and we had to drive. We were camping in Sipapu and we had to drive to Taos to get service, like cell service, to get the email.
Right.
And
we took our kids out to ice cream to celebrate. Like,
yeah,
it was just like emotional.
And we let our kids know, and we were like so like excited, but like scared, and like this is actually happening.
But
like
we were
all
like,
these
we're gonna
feelings
take
are coming
the plunge.
through.
Like, we're gonna do this. Like, it's working out. Things are working out. Like, we're gonna go with it, right? And I think that's part of it that people forget is like moving. Even if you're in your own city, it's an emotional process. So it's easy to be overwhelmed and make decisions based on that emotion. So anyway. So we're like excited. We tell our parents, we tell some friends, like, hey, like, this is what's going on, and we're going to be moving, and we're going to move August 1st. And the people were okay with letting us move in beginning of August, end of July. You know, like, everything seemed to be going swimmingly, right?
Of course they were okay.
Of course they were. So then we get home from camping, and Lorenzo's like, we had requested money for the deposit out of our Acorns account, which takes a few days to process. So, thank God.
Well, what's happening is I'm curious about, you know, what's gonna, you know, what is my neighborhood gonna look like? What is, like, I visualize things on maps.
Oh, can I say something?
Sure.
I have to confess though, they sent us the lease agreement. And it was drafted. It looked like it was drafted by a lawyer. I read through the entire thing. It was legit. It sounded normal. I looked up the lawyer online. Sure enough, that person is a lawyer, has a law office. So I was like, okay, all right. Like, this must be their family lawyer. Fine. So, like, everything seemed fine. And that's the thing I want to just say right now. Like, I'm like an ex-case manager. I'm not naive. I'm definitely not stupid. All of the check marks were there as far as making me feel secure and confident in the decision we were making. And yeah, so go ahead. Because this is what really just, you can do your research and think that everything's okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Just, you have to really be careful, especially on Craigslist.
I'm never going to conduct business on Craigslist ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
I think if you're working on one of the websites that are verified, like Zillow or Redfin.
That's a better, yeah, I know. Pay the extra money.
Those are a bit better. Those aren't even extra money. They just, I think there's more availability, if you're careful, you can find, I think, sometimes better or more hidden.
But you also have to be patient.
You have to be more patient. You have to be a lot more careful on Craigslist. So just watch your ass. Like, I never thought like I would ever be scammed. So here's what happened. Like, we were just sitting in our living room. Like, the kids are watching a movie, winding down in their PJs, like ready for bed, and my mind's wandering again. I'm like, I wonder what the neighborhood looks like. I want to see like a street view, and I want to, because like I'm going to be living here in like a month and a half. Yeah. So I wanted to look up the address, but I didn't have the address offhand. All I had was the email that you had sent me with the Craigslist ad. Yeah. And I opened up the email and I clicked on the link, and it brought me to a flagged post on Craigslist. It said this post has been flagged, and I was like, oh shit. Yep. So I started to research it a little bit more. I'm like, well, why does it say that? Like, I need to contact. First of all, I need to search this property online to see if it's still listed at any other place. See if it's still listed on Zillow, or see if it's listed on Realtor.com or whatever those other websites are. Yeah. And sure enough, it's there, and it says it's been listed for 4 days, and then the rent, of course, was like $300 higher than what the Craigslist post was there. But part of me is like, I'm optimistic. I'm like, well, maybe they accidentally put the rent at that, and maybe we'll get that rent, and maybe they just, something's happening. Yeah. I don't know.
I verified the rent amount when I was asking them about the deposit.
Yeah.
I said, how much is the deposit again? Like, just to verify it and get them to email me back. So yeah, I verified it.
Through the spammers.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was a little weird, because I was like, okay, they're verifying this amount, and then Lorenzo's showing me this other amount. So that's a little strange.
Yeah. So then that's when it started to sink in, like, This isn't good.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, that was like 3 days ago? 4 days ago?
And so I, of course, being pissed off, email these people like kind of just like a fuck you. Like, I mean, it was just like, lease is off and I'm reporting you. Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
So I was pretty pissed. And I had to file an FBI fraud report. And thank God, our money, our deposit money, like they could have taken us for like a couple thousand. But because it takes like 4 to 5 days to process out of Acorns, like the money wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
And so we didn't pay them the deposit. We only lost $100. It's not a lot, but it's enough to make you really think about the decisions you're making. And
right.
I mean, if this can happen to us, like this can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like we're overly intelligent people, but it's like we're tech savvy, we're smart, we're not like, we do our homework, we do our research. Everything until that very last minute panned out.
Yeah.
Everything till that last minute looked normal. It looked fine. It looked legit. It was an actual lawyer's name from an actual law firm. Obviously, it was fraudulent. But everything looked okay.
Right. Yeah, so that just kind of added up to another thing that didn't work out for us. And
I cried so hard for like 2 days. Like, I had lost my shit.
It's hard to like recover from that. It's hard to get confidence in anything after that. Like, you know, we have this, we're just at the end of our line a lot of the times with just life.
Yeah.
And then we put forth a lot of effort and a lot of energy towards something, and it just kind of blows up in your face, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And another thing, you know, it's another thing.
It's another blow. It's another blow.
And like, part of me, I feel guilty for even thinking that. Like, I need to think about the things that are good in my life. Like, I have my health, my kids are healthy. Like, there's,
right.
But at the same time, I'm thinking like, why can't shit just work out? Why can't shit just like, you know, I'm trying, I'm putting forth effort. Like, am I not putting...
Like, why does it work for everyone but me? Maybe there's something wrong with me.
Maybe.
That's how I feel.
I'm like, am I not working hard enough? Do I need to work harder? Do I need to, like, what do I need to do?
Yeah.
What do I need to do to like make the things happen that I want to make happen because I'm trying. I don't know.
I also, you know, I feel like it's important to talk about this because going back to the scammer thing, they don't care if you have kids. They don't care about your life. They don't care about your feelings. They know they're almost betting on taking advantage of your emotional state because you're emotionally vulnerable when you're looking for a house. So they are like playing on those things and they know how to manipulate those things. Even like in one of the emails they had said like, oh, I hope I'm not disturbing you. And it was like, came off as like, oh, that's thoughtful. Right. But it's just what my friend told me, like I had to tell him we weren't moving and he lives up there. And he was like, Linz, like these people, like this is what they do for a living. Like you can't beat yourself up because this is literally what they do 24/7. They know how to hook people. They know how to get people. They know the right things to say. They've even got the timing down to where it feels normal. And the paperwork, you can't beat yourself up. These people are literally like their job is to be 1 or 2 steps ahead of you all the time.
And I'm not even mad about like...
It's not about the money.
No, I'm not mad about falling for the scam. I'm mad that I'm mad about my emotions, like, and I'm like ready to go. And
but your emotions were manipulated.
No, I don't even, but the scamming part, that sucks. And it happens to everybody. But what I'm frustrated and upset about is like I'm not moving to Portland now. Yeah. And like the stuff that I wanted to make happen are not happening now.
Yeah. I put in a ton of applications.
And now our momentum has been like squashed. And again, we're saying like, well, Albuquerque's not so bad. You know, we have our friends here, we have our family here, we have our support. It's not so bad. Like we're back.
But what are we supposed to say at this point?
We're back at the point.
How are we supposed to feel?
I don't know. But what's frustrating is
you can't just be bitter.
We're back at the same spot we were.
Yeah.
And the spot that we're stuck at, and we seem to like not be able to like shake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
We're back in that same place.
I do.
Emotionally, physically, mentally, everything.
I think for me, like I feel you on that. I feel like that. But for me, the hardest part is like having to explain to people why all of a sudden we're not moving and like be like, yeah, we totally got conned and like shame on me for believing that good things could happen.
Yeah.
For me, it kind of shattered a little bit of my faith, and I hate to say it like that, but it's like I feel like good things, and I even said this to a friend of mine when I thought we were moving. I was like, yeah, like good things like this, they don't happen to me like this. I've never had something just fall in line like this. Like this doesn't happen. Like my life doesn't work this way. And then it was like after all the stuff came down, it's like, oh, well, of course my life doesn't fucking work this way. Like here it is. Like here's the other shoe. Like too good to be true always. And I don't want to be that cynical.
Next to your light, but it's always night without you. Without you, the day turns to night. Stars search with long lost eyes. In vain I try to hold you, to hold you. I need you.
It seems like that. It seems like sometimes it seems like you're cursed. Like not you, but like
No,
me.
I get it. No,
sometimes
me too.
sometimes
Me
I
too.
feel like I'm cursed.
I feel
Like
you.
something about me. But I know that's like wrong thinking. But
There's a joke in my family.
second place Freeman.
Yeah, if you're a Freeman, you're always in second place. You're
Yeah.
never in first.
But you're right. Like it doesn't seem like things. Sometimes you just want a break.
Yeah. And you
Or
think you're...
or even not even a break, but like you just want your efforts to pay off.
Right. Well, or you feel like you've put in the work and you would just like to reap a little bit of the reward for that work. And again, like I try, and it's very hard for me, but I try not to compare myself to other people, although I do. It's something I'm working on, but it's like really hard when you see other people who like, they want, they go, they do, they get. And then there's you, and you're like, you want, you go, you do, and you get conned out of $100, or you just don't get anything. And you're just like, why are my efforts not ever enough? But like Joe Schmo over there, it's like everything seamlessly just works all the time. It's really hard not to be cynical. And like I was saying, I don't want to be cynical, but my life experience has really proved that it's very hard to not be cynical right now.
Yeah.
And so right now we're just in this, again, we're talking about, liminal space. Like we're just in this liminal space where we're like, okay, well, what now? Like, because obviously that fell through, and it's also weird with, coronavirus, because we don't know what's coming. We don't know if, like, they had just released a thing with school for our kids, like it's going to be 50-50, like half in school, half out of school.
Yeah.
On a rotation. That throws some weird stuff into the fire.
Is my kindergartner going to be exposed to like coronavirus?
Right.
Also,
our pre-K
also
daughter.
What are we going to do about childcare and all this other stuff? Like it's
complex.
Yeah.
I mean, and I guess I'm grateful. I am grateful for family and friends. The hard part is that embarrassment of having to explain why actually this didn't work out for you. And not only did it not work out, you feel stupid because somebody completely took advantage of you, and you're like, I should have known better. I'm not a naive person.
Yeah.
Like I know red flags when I see them. So how did they get me? Like, because I never thought that this would be something that I would fall for ever.
Well, even
I thought I was being so careful.
Yeah. No, I mean, I did too.
We filed the FBI
and
report, the consumer report, everything.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's...
Yeah, no, we did all those things.
And it's like, if this can happen to us, this can happen to anyone. And I've had a few people tell me, oh, that happened to my uncle. Oh, that happened to my sister. Oh, that happened to my cousin. And I'm like, really? Nobody talks about it.
Yep.
What's the problem?
Oh, nothing. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. And I like to, well, you know what? Can we take a quick break?
Sure.
and walk over there. Be right back. Okay, we're back again. We just had to move benches. Now we have road noise, but I think we're going to start wrapping up in a minute. Yeah, so we're kind of discouraged now in life and trying to figure out what's next for us and how to regain our footing and not feel defeated and, you know, all that stuff. All that good stuff.
All that good stuff.
But, yeah. Is there anything else going on in life? Anything good?
I mean, yeah, there's lots of good things. Like, I think, you know,
we got some time.
We got some time. Yeah, we got some
That
time
was
away,
nice.
and that was part of the reason for coming to Santa Fe for the night. Was
clear
just
our
like,
mind.
yeah, to kind of do like a
lot of noise
like
here.
a reset. Let's just go sit in the car. To do like a reset and just sort of rest. Enjoy what's around us for a minute, enjoy some time without the noise of our children, and just sort of, you know, just kind of resetting our mental state and our, you know, just, I don't know.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, I helped found a guild, a podcast guild here in town.
Yeah.
It sounds so weird to say a guild.
Guild?
That's what they voted on. I would have liked to do like a different word, but it's fine. A guild is fine. I just feel like I should be wearing armor and like have a membership, like monk. But
They were even talking about coins and stuff.
good God, I know. This is what I get for like trying to like start a podcasting like collaborative with like a bunch of podcasting dudes.
Yeah. And then if they're listening, like, you guys are awesome too.
It's just funny because I'm like, you guys do your thing. It's good. Whatever it is, it's going to be good. And we're working on just kind of establishing some things. And so that's exciting. That's exciting stuff.
Yeah.
I'm hoping
The
that
Borellis
grows.
Podcasting Guild.
Podcasters
Guild.
Borellis Podcasters
We have a
Guild.
meeting tonight, actually, which is going to be nice to just talk about that.
Yeah, and then I have a meeting set up with the city people who are going to be giving us some property to get established and start working. So
Yeah.
that's good news. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
And then I also, this is nerdy as hell, but I make jewelry on the side. I make earrings and stuff, and like I sell them at coffee shops. And my numbers have been really good. I think people are just tired of being at home, and so when they go places, they're buying things.
Yeah.
Just because they've just had all this time and all this money sitting around. So I'm grateful that that's been a little bump of success.
Right.
You know, hopefully it continues, because usually summer months are pretty slow, but it seems like they're going to be okay.
Yeah.
So July is typically like the slowest month ever for sales.
Is it?
Yeah. July is because everybody's out of school. University people go home. Yeah, I don't know. People just don't tend to buy a lot in July, and then they do when they come back to school in August. So
Yeah.
anyway,
So, good things, I guess.
it's little things.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the rest of the summer is going to hold. I'm not sure what the school year is going to hold. Hopefully we get our footing back again, like I said, and
Yeah.
get some momentum and figure our shit out. Either be content and who knows.
We are going up to Portland the end of July just because we had already had the tickets. So
yeah.
we're going to do that. And that'll be nice. It'll be nice to just have a change of pace and scenery. We're going to stay in my friend's Airbnb and just relax. So, you know, hopefully that isn't too stressful for us. But
And there's more sirens, man. We're really painting the picture of like
Santa Fe, yeah.
of just being in a city.
We had a
there's
complete
cars
stranger
coming by.
with a bunch of tattoos, really sketchy looking, be like, "Hey guys, you gonna be here for a little bit?" And we were like, no.
Yeah.
No, we will not hold your drugs and give them to your friend, like when he gets here. But thanks
Right.
for asking.
I'm interested to
going on.
listen to this when we're done recording it because There's cars going by. There's sirens. There's people playing tennis right next to us. Like
Kids crying and screaming and having temper tantrums.
oh yeah. Yeah. So, what are you listening to?
What am I listening to? Let's see here. I'm gonna pull it up. I've been really enjoying this new podcast. It's like great. I gotta go to it, but it's called Cult or Just Weird.
Oh yeah, you sent me that.
They have this whole episode about the city of Irvine. It was fascinating. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but you should listen to it. It's called Cult or Just Weird. They're a married couple. They live in LA and they podcast as well. And they analyze different weird things and decide if they are cults or they are just super weird. Really loving that podcast. Their banter is really good. They're fun to listen to. It's not just monotone stuff. It's pretty great. So I'm enjoying them. I just downloaded one called Unholier Than Thou. I haven't started it yet, but I'm excited to start it. And then, I'm sorry, my allergies are so bad right now.
Yeah, I could tell.
Am I annoying you?
No.
So sorry.
Save for me.
Wow. And then there's a kid podcast that I've been putting on for my kids in the car, and they really like it a lot. And it's called The Imagined Neighborhood. And they have like little episodes. They're like 15 minutes maybe. They're not crazy long, but they're fun. It's like Sesame Street on a podcast. Yeah, so The Imagined Neighborhood is really good for kids. My kids really like it a lot.
Yeah.
And music. Sorry, I'm just going on a tangent here. And then I'll stop talking because my nose is all stuffy. I've been listening to a band called Boy Harsher. There's a song called Morphine that's really good that you can check out. There's a band called Citizenship, but it's CTZNSHP. Still listening to Run the Jewels, listening to The Big Moon. And then I have one more that I was going to shout. Oh, The Blue Stones is a really good band. And Widow Speak. So that's what I've been listening to.
Sounds good.
What about you? What are you listening to?
As far as your What's Up ABQ podcast dropped today,
Yep.
Fork and Fig. So
Yeah.
I'll be listening to that later. I've been listening to the My Career podcast. My Career is the lead singer of MXPX, and he just has guests like musicians and artists and people from the scene that I've really sort of loved since in high school. So that's been interesting, and it's been super mindless, and it doesn't require a whole lot of effort because right now, like, to be truthfully honest, like, I'm just tapped out emotionally, so I can't deal with, like, I don't want to add any additional shit to my, even if it's just for entertainment. The My Career podcast is good because he's just having a conversation with some other punk rock dude from the scene. So it's like it's pretty mindless, like I said.
Yeah.
And I haven't really been listening to much podcasts other than that. Before all of this went down, I was listening to a podcast called Find Your Dream Job from Maxlist. They provide you with a bunch of tips on like resume help and how to find a job during COVID and all sorts of stuff. And I found it super helpful, but I've put that on pause for a little bit because I'm just pausing on everything, I guess. As far as music is concerned, I've been sort of stuck musically. Like, I want to listen to music, but there has not been any artist or any music or any genre that really can sort of encapsulate like how I feel. So I haven't really, there's nothing really that has just been on my mind lately as far as music. I sort of just play I use YouTube Music, and there's like a Your Mix thing that just sort of guesses like what music you like, and I've just sort of just been playing that and just for background noise. But I don't know, maybe I'll find some good music to listen to, and if there's anybody that listens to this, maybe you can shoot me a email or something. I don't know. I'm super downer, but that's okay.
Well, I think we need to get on the road and get back to Albuquerque, and I need some more coffee, so.
Yeah.
I need another kick in the face of caffeine, so I think we should get on the road. We're going to go the back way through Madrid and Cerrillos and Galisteo. So that's going to be beautiful. You can Google those places if you want to.
Yeah.
But
And if you're a New Mexican and you say Madrid, I'm judging you. Sorry.
it's all good. All right. So we will talk to you guys on the next one.
Peace out.